Ladies and gentlemen, we have two legal breaking video analysis reportings and legal breaking reportings today. Two of which Trump lost. Let's get into them. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, we have Judge Karin Immergut, who is a Trump appointee, who again extended her order blocking Trump from deploying the National Guard to Oregon. Portland, Oregon, that is. In Oregon and City of Portland v. Trump, ETAL. And the second one, the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals has blocked his deployment of federal troops to Chicago in the state of Chicago, City of Chicago v. Trump. Let's get into them. Before we do get into the reportings, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you like the YouTube algorithm up and like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. It will help ensure that I can continue providing you guys with legal breaking analysis reportings. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Judge extends block on National Guard deployment to Portland by Ella Lee. A federal judge in Oregon has extended temporary orders blocking President Trump from deploying the National Guard to patrol Portland, as the president seeks to send troops into several Democratic-led cities. U.S. District Judge Karin Immergut decided Wednesday to extend 2 temporary restraining orders she previously issued, which had been set to expire later this week, another 14 days. The extension comes as a 3-judge panel on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 9th Circuit weighs whether to grant the Trump administration's request to lift one of the orders keeping it from dispatching troops across the state. Immergut, who was appointed to the bench by Trump during his first term, issued the back-to-back orders earlier this month. She first ruled on October 4th that the president could not federalize Oregon's National Guard, and the next day stopped him from sidestepping that order by calling in National Guard troops from other states to be deployed to Portland. "This is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law," she wrote in the first of the 2 orders. Immergut also set a 3-day bench trial for October 29 to consider whether a longer block is warranted. On September 27, Trump directed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to provide troops to protect Portland and ICE facilities in the city. Hegseth issued a memo authorizing deployment and federalization of 200 Oregon National Guard members the next day, over Oregon Governor Tina Kodek's, a Democrat objection. Oregon and Portland officials jointly sued the administration to block the deployment, contending the move runs afoul of federal law governing the use of military forces and steps on the state's sovereignty. The administration argued that courts must give a great level of deference to the president's determination to federalize the National Guard, but Immergut ruled that that deference is not equivalent to ignoring the facts on the ground. She found that Trump's perception of the state of play in Portland was simply untethered to the facts.
And ladies and gentlemen, we now go on to our second reporting that that I was telling you guys about. Let's get into that reporting.
Appeals Court maintains block on Trump's troop deployment to Illinois. This article is by Mattathias Schwartz and read by an automated voice. A federal appeals panel on Thursday agreed with a lower court judge who had blocked the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to the Chicago area. The 18-page preliminary ruling by a 3-judge panel from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit concurred with the reasoning of Judge April M. Perry of the Federal District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, who put a temporary block on deployments in her state on October 8. The facts do not justify the president's actions in Illinois under the statute the Trump administration invoked in its attempt to deploy the National Guard, the appeals panel wrote, though it left open the possibility that could change in the future. The decision means that National Guard troops cannot be stationed on the streets outside an Immigration and Customs Enforcement Processing Center in Broadview, Ill, where protesters have gathered as the Trump administration has carried out an immigration crackdown in the Chicago area. President Trump has exercised his lawful authority to protect federal officers and assets, Abigail Jackson, a White House spokeswoman, said in a statement over email. We expect to be vindicated by a higher court. The unsigned order was issued by a panel of 3 judges, Alana Rovner, David Hamilton, and Amy St. Eve. The 3 judges were nominated to the appellate bench by Presidents George H.W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald J. Trump, respectively. According to an October 4th memo from the White House, ICE facilities in the Chicago area have come under coordinated assault by violent groups, which have engaged in violent demonstrations, intimidation, and sabotage to impede Mr. Trump's deportation effort. That finding was rejected by Judge Perry, who wrote that administration officials' perceptions are not reliable, and that bringing in the military is likely to lead to civil unrest. In its ruling, the appellate panel rejected the government's argument that a Supreme Court case from 1827 had barred the judiciary from reviewing Mr. Trump's deployment decision. The old case concerns starkly different circumstances, they found, and nothing in the statute makes the president the sole judge of whether it was rightly invoked. The administration has tried to justify deploying troops by claiming that there is a rebellion or danger of rebellion in Chicago, words found in the statute that it says provides a basis for its authority. The judges disagreed. Political opposition is not rebellion, they wrote. The spirited, sustained, and occasionally violent actions of demonstrators in protest of the federal government's immigration policies and actions, without more, does not give rise to a danger of rebellion against the government's authority. Illinois and Chicago officials have vehemently opposed any use of military troops in the streets, and they say the prospect could intensify a growing wave of objections to Mr. Trump's immigration policies in the Chicago area. Some 500 members of the Illinois and Texas National Guards have already been activated in the Chicago area, according to a statement by the military's Northern Command. Last week, it said the troops are conducting planning and training, but not operational activities. Neither Judge Perry nor the Seventh Circuit have made a final ruling on the merits of the case, and the ruling on Thursday is unlikely to be the final word in the dispute. The Trump administration could at some point appeal the case to the Supreme Court. Mr. Trump could also invoke the Insurrection Act, which would give him the authority to circumvent the court orders that now block deployments in Illinois and Oregon, and would almost certainly be the subject of another round of lawsuits.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this can also, with the Insurrection Act, be subject to legal scrutiny. And if the Supreme Court also rejects that idea, then Trump is SOL. He cannot, by law, circumvent the Supreme Court or any court for that matter. ladies and gentlemen, this is not a good day or a good week for Donald Trump and his administration. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this first legal breaking reporting video analysis update for the evening. In the meantime, please, if you did enjoy this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. Please help me keep, like I said, the YouTube algorithm up by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, as I said. Please, secondly, help me reach and achieve the goal of 310 plus subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm saying 310 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 310 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach and achieve the goal of 310 subscribers. You guys can also do so if you want to make sure you're always up to date on all the things legal breaking. Reporting wise on the side of politics, you guys can follow me on my social medias that'll be linked down below in the video description below. You guys can also do so by hitting the bell icon. It does not cost anything. It's completely free of charge. I do not put any paywalls, no nothing on any of my stuff. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will talk to you guys in my next legal breaking reporting video analysis update. In the meantime, please stay safe. And always look for the points of light in today's unfortunate illegal induced darkness caused by the illegal, unconstitutional Trump administration and their criminal efforts and acts.